Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of In the Kitchen with Robert. Tonight we are going to be making garlic bacon kale. Yes, that's right. The two things that could make something as bitter as kale more delicious. You can see here, I'm just going ahead and chopping up some onion. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you should know how to do that now. As you can see, just kind of ripping off some of the paper there. But I'm just going to do a real rough chop. So just cutting the onion half and then into thirds, and then a nice rough chop. The same kind that you do for like fried rice or a stew. It just depends on what you want the finished product to be. And you can also see I have 2 cloves of garlic here that we're going to smash. And I'm going to smash it 2 different ways. One, I'm going to show you here first with the side of my knife. Boom, there we go. And once you peel off that papery skin, I want to show you all another method. If you don't have a big butcher knife, if you just have a paring knife of some kind, you can also take a ramekin or something heavy like this in the kitchen and smash it like that. It's just that easy. Now, before you start slicing and dicing that delicious garlic, I want to point out you want to cut off the root end of the garlic. It's bitter. I mean, you certainly can eat it, and it tastes fine, I guess, but it has a kind of a bitter taste to it, and it's not great. So you can see here, just nice, simple, thin slices. And what could make anything better but bacon? Now, there's a couple different ways that you can tackle the bacon. You could lay it down on a cutting board and chop it up, or, in my case, I use a handy-pandy pair of scissors. Easy peasy, easy cleanup. Why dirty a cutting board when you've got one of these suckers laying around? Nothing special about them. They're not even any kind of kitchen shear. So go ahead and spread out the bacon. You're going to want to cook this on medium heat to medium low, depending on how quickly you want to fry it. But the object here is to render the fat out of the bacon and to create a cooking liquid for us to later cook in the onions and the kale. So once you finish cooking the bacon, collect it up and set it aside. A plate, paper towel will do, doesn't matter. Now you'll notice that I'm adding some canola oil here, and that is raising the smoke point of the bacon grease. Go ahead and toss in your onions. And an important note, everyone is going to be tempted to toss in your garlic, but do not do that. Do not do that. Garlic will burn much quicker than onions, and the sugars in them will caramelize, but that caramelization turns to burn real quick. So go ahead and make sure to salt your onions as we are sweating them, and what this does is it draws the moisture out of the onions while we're cooking them. And it makes them cook and caramelize a little bit quicker. As you draw out the moisture, you're concentrating the sugars, and that's what creates the Maillard reaction. And you can see here, this is when we want to toss in our kale. Now, an important note about the Maillard reaction, Maillard essentially is what causes caramelization, and that's what causes flavor. It's a beautiful little chemical dance. So you will want to add your kale in batches, and you can see I've added a big old fistful here, and I've also spared y'all the rigorous cleaning of this stuff. Basically, you just want to take it, rip it up into a bunch of pieces, pull off some of the stems, and then, honest to goodness, I wash mine in the bathtub. Yes, that is right. You are not a true North Carolinian unless you wash your kale and greens in the bathtub. But it's the easiest and best way to get all the sand off of the kale. Now you can see that I've added a little bit more. I'm tossing in some salt here, which again is the same idea and the principle behind the onions. You're sweating it. The salt is hydrophilic, and so it pulls the moisture out, and that's what concentrates the delicious flavors. Also, as we are cooking down the vegetables, we are going to be drawing out the bitterness of the kale. There's this big misconception that kale is a bitter plant. Now check this out. Yes, sir. That is a delicious pork chop that I'm cooking for dinner. Because you never just cook one dish. You're not just going to eat kale for dinner. But anyways, as I was saying about kale, there's this misconception that it's bitter. And really what it is that you need to cook it in such a way that it draws out the natural sugars and concentrates the good flavors. Now you can see what I'm doing here is I've cleared a space in the center, added a little bit of olive oil, to which I will saute my garlic in this space. And the idea behind this is that you just want to take off some of that raw edge of the garlic, get it good and hot, and then you can mix it in with the greens. And you can see the greens eventually over time will continue to cook down. They reach the doneness that you like, add in your bacon, and now is the time that you would add your cracked black pepper. You don't want to add it before because pepper can burn. Salt doesn't burn, pepper can burn. So this is a good time to pepper, and you can see I love a lot of pepper. And lastly, just give it a good old drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. And the reason behind this is fats bring out flavor. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, oh my God, that's so much oil, but just trust me, it will make it taste amazing. You're ready to serve. Go ahead and top it off with a little bit of kosher salt. And because I'm crazy, I like to drizzle on a little bit more olive oil. Now, let me know what you think of this recipe. If you make it, if there's any other recipes or things that you'd like me to cover in the future, let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much, and we will see you next time. Bon appetit.